of the Deputy Speaker. 3 days into the Maharashtra political crisis, Team Modi breaks silence. Union Minister Piyush Goyal tears into the Aghadi as the unholy alliance was bound to collapse. This is an India Today exclusive. NDA candidate for President Draupadi Murmu files her nomination. Prime Minister Modi and NDA bigwigs accompany her. Supreme Court upholds clean chit to Prime Minister Modi in 2002 Gujarat riots case. Top court says plea filed by Zakia Jafri is devoid of merit. BJP claims vindication. Left student group SFI attacks Rahul Gandhi's Wayanad office, vandalism due to alleged inaction by Congress MP over an Supreme Court order on an eco-sensitive zone. Well, this is big, viewers, and it takes women's rights in United States a step back. US Supreme Court overturns landmark verdict that legalized abortion in the country. 50-year-old ruling giving Americans a choice now scrapped. Meanwhile, US Senate passes first gun control bill in nearly 30 years. Bill allows tougher checks on young buyers and encourages states to remove guns from people considered a threat. All right, viewers, the political saga of the state of Maharashtra continues, plunging the Mahavikas Aghadi into deep crisis. What we are getting to understand, it is an emotional appeal by Uddhav Thackeray versus the sheer strength of numbers. Number flexing by none else but Eknath Shinde, who now says he has over 50 MLAs in his fold. A mad scramble in Mumbai as Shiv Sena continues to bleed MLAs. Crucial Pawar Uddhav meet at Matoshree has just ended, and sources have told us, viewers, that the NCP, in not too many words, pretty much laid it clear for Uddhav Thackeray, saying that the writing is on the wall, you don't have the numbers, leave gracefully. NCP says that it is more or less becoming clear that majority of Shiv Sena MLAs are with Shinde. Sources also tell us that what went down behind closed doors suggests that NCP senior leaders, primarily Sharad Pawar, believes that dragging the matter further would only embarrass the alliance of the Mahavikas Aghadi. The situation of a flaw test will deeply also embarrass the alliance. NCP leadership to suggest to Uddhav to accept the fact and move on with the reality gracefully. Tomorrow at 1 p.m, Shiv Sena has called for a meeting of its national executive, and something after that is bound to come out in terms of what would be the next move for Uddhav Thackeray, who, viewers, right now has clearly run out of options. Connecting immediately to my colleague Sahil Joshi, our Mumbai, Maharashtra, in fact, Maharashtra Bureau Chief. He joins us live. Sahil, what went down in the meeting? The master strategist, Sharad Pawar, pretty much telling Uddhav Thackeray is what your sources are picking up, that a reality check. You don't have the numbers. Time to accept reality and move on gracefully.
Well, right now he's just giving a reality check. Whether to go ahead with the resignation or not is going to be entirely Uddhav Thackeray's decision. One thing is very clear, that Pawar has decided not to abandon Uddhav Thackeray at this crucial time, because finally it was Sharad Pawar who had suggested Uddhav Thackeray that he should be taking the mantle and become the Chief Minister in 2019. So this is going to be a very tricky situation. More importantly, now the fight has, the fight will happen as per the assembly rules. The rules with respect to the representation of Public Representatives Act. Now the fight is happening inside the assembly, because the Deputy Speaker has accepted what Shiv Sena had claimed that Eknath Shinde is no more a legislative party leader, whereas Ajit Choudhry is the new leader of Shiv Sena's legislative party. The Deputy Speaker have accepted that. It doesn't look like that Eknath Shinde is going to accept that. Whether he is going to fight it to the to the court because he wants to be the legislative party leader of Shiv Sena. He claims that majority people are with me. I am not attracting any kind of anti-defection law, but the actual party in the Shiv Sena in the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly is that of Eknath Shinde, is not of Uddhav Thackeray. So that is a separate fight which is going on. Now looking at the reality situation, what happened is that day before yesterday when Sharad Pawar first spoke in Delhi, that time he was pretty confident that 15 to 20 MLAs who have gone with Eknath Shinde to Surat, maybe a few of them will come back and Uddhav Thackeray will be in the comfortable position because that time MVA had a bigger majority. But the way one after the other, the people who are here in Mumbai also started going to Surat, via Surat to Guwahati through a chartered flight. Sharad Pawar also somewhere realized that Uddhav Thackeray doesn't have the numbers. The MLAs who are there in Guwahati are not going to come back to Uddhav's fold even if they return to Mumbai. There is a possibility that couple of MLAs might come back, but doesn't mean that majority of the MLAs by Uddhav Thackeray will be able to take them back. Because lot of MLAs who were present in Mumbai were part of the meeting with Uddhav Thackeray yesterday and today have also gone to Guwahati. So that is something, the reality check which he wants to give. Now comes to the fight with respect to the party symbol and how to save the party. And that is the reason why tomorrow this executive committee meeting has been called by a national executive meeting which has been called by Uddhav Thackeray at Shiv Sena Bhavan at this point of time. So now the strategy will have to be reorganized with the way the current numbers are. Sharad Pawar, a master strategist, he knows very well. If you don't have the numbers, you can't save the government. But if you can't save the government, what else you can do to at least save the party Shiv Sena? Because he doesn't want Shiv Sena to die down or to go in the hands of Eknath Shinde and eventually in the hands of the BJP. So now the fight has also started with respect to that how to save the party. Also, the BJP has not yet opened the cards. We don't know whether the BJP themselves are going to form the government. Are they going to pump up Eknath Shinde and make a claim later that look, we have made a normal Shiv Sainik finally a chief minister, or they just want to take the whole Eknath Shinde lot in the BJP fold and make a larger BJP in Maharashtra. That is not yet clear. So till then, everybody wants to buy the time in MVA. The MVA government is going to go. That is very clear looking at the numbers. But the prolonged fight will give them an idea what is going to be the unfolding politics in next couple of months, because eventually they will have to fight the elections in next few months, specifically the BMC, where the actual test of what has happened today will come forward. Because if the actual Sena, the party, is still in hands of Uddhav Thackeray, and if Uddhav Thackeray manages to win the BMC elections, then all what happened today will go in win, because the party will still remain intact. Only the MLAs, the elected body of Shiv Sena, has gone with the BJP. So that doesn't solve the purpose for the BJP. So it is going to be a longer fight. Everybody is trying to prolong the fight to assess the situation right now, specifically from Shiv Sena and the NCP side. So this is turning interesting day by day. Not yet sure what the BJP has in mind. One thing was sure, that the BJP wanted to have such a big rebellion within Shiv Sena, which will shake up the party from beneath, and that's what definitely has happened. But what exactly is going to be the outcome of this, other than forming the government in Maharashtra, it's something going to be really interesting.
Well, Sahil, it's as interesting as it's exacting, not just for the politicians involved, I'm sure you and your team as well. But Sahil, I'm going to ask you one quick question. With the way things have been unfolding, the coup, if I may call it, has been so tightly knit and so well planned, watertight if you look at it. The way things unfolded today, today news broke that it was 3 days ago that Shinde had actually filed for a no confidence motion, and then today you had two MLAs who followed suit and aligned to the BJP and asked for the removal of the deputy speaker. It's going as per script, it seems.
Well, that is the game which will be played between Shiv Sena and Shinde group. It goes like this. The first day, on 21st of June, Eknath Shinde sends the list of 34 MLAs, signed copy, to the deputy speaker saying that he is the legislative party leader of Shiv Sena and he is he is keeping aside Sunil Prabhu, who was as a chief whip of the party, who was appointed by Uddhav Thackeray, and making his own man a chief whip. At the same time, Shiv Sena takes a meeting at Varsha and decides that as per the orders of Uddhav Thackeray, now Eknath Shinde is no more a legislative party leader. They are replacing Eknath Shinde with Ajay Choudhry. Eknath Shinde realized it very well that Deputy Speaker is going to accept that particular decision, which actually happened. He spoke to India Today exclusively and said that yes, I am accepting Shiv Sena's position. Immediately, Eknath Shinde dashed another letter with the signature of 35 MLAs saying that we don't have a trust in the Deputy Speaker. So there will be a no confidence motion against the Deputy Speaker. After that, Shiv Sena in the evening came up with the 12 petitions against the MLAs in the Eknath Shinde group, in Eknath Shinde camp, including that of Eknath Shinde, that the disqualification procedure should begin against Eknath Shinde and 12 others, and then 5 added later. Immediately the next day, the 2 independent MLAs supported by the BJP, or the two independent MLAs who are supporting the BJP, went to the Deputy Speaker and the Assembly Secretariat saying that as per the Supreme Court order in 2016, what happened in Arunachal Pradesh, if there is a question mark on Deputy Speaker, if there is a no confidence motion against Deputy Speaker, the Deputy Speaker should not be hearing the disqualification petition. That is the Supreme Court decision. Why the Deputy Speaker is going to hear these 12 disqualification petitions? That is where all these legal fights have started. Meantime, the Deputy Speaker have come up with a written order that he has accepted Shiv Sena's claim and have made Ajay Choudhary a legislative party leader of Shiv Sena. Now that fight is going to go in the court for sure, because Shinde doesn't want to form a separate group and merge in some other party. He wants the whole Shiv Sena. He wants to lead the Shiv Sena legislative party in the assembly, and that is going to be the fight at this point.
Well, you know, Sahil, good luck. It's going to be a long drawn weekend. We're going to keep coming back to Sahil and his team. They've been getting us the biggest news breaks as and when they happen first, viewers. It's important to say first sometimes. Thank you, Sahil, for joining us. I want to cut across right now. We have with us Shiv Sena Rajya Sabha MP Priyanka Chaturvedi. She's joining us live. Appreciate you, ma'am. In tough times, my first question, with what is going down right now? 20 minutes ago, the meeting has ended between Sharad Pawar, Praful Patel, Ajit Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray, where the indication is very clear that Sharad Pawar has pretty much given Uddhav Thackeray, your leader, a reality check that he doesn't have the numbers and maybe it's time to move on. From your, not just the 38 MLAs out of 55 which are with Eknath Shinde, Ms. Chaturvedi, you have MLCs, you even have one MP. Do you see now you've lost the moral authority to rule or to be in power?
Of course we are in a moral authority, because all these MLAs, MPs or whatever videos that are being featured, they all need to come to Mumbai, the state capital of Maharashtra, to show their show of strength. They cannot be issuing these videos from a 5-star hotel in a city like Guwahati, where unfortunately Assam is seeing the worst floods in the recent years, where 32 of the 36 districts are flooded, over 101 people have died, and we have ministers and some MLAs who are elected by the people of Maharashtra enjoying the 5-star hospitality in Assam. So even if they want to prove anything, they will have to come to the city of Mumbai. They will come to the capital of the state and do whatever they have to and prove their numbers.
But Ms. Chaturvedi, as we speak right now, if you just look at it, there is a no confidence motion that has been mooted on the 21st of this month against your government. On the other hand, you have now put forth that you want the disqualification of 16 MLAs at the doorstep of the Deputy Speaker who comes from the NCP. On the other hand, 2 independent MLAs from the Bharatiya Janata Party ask for the removal of the Deputy Speaker and say that he cannot really take a decision on disqualification because there is a no confidence motion against him. The odds, even legally, not just number-wise, are stacked against you, madam.
So 21st is when that notice was given, right? He has no authority to give that notice because he was not the chief whip of the party. So this again I will repeat, all these letters that are coming from Guwahati in a language which is very BJP, in a language which is not of Shiv Sena, they do not have a legal leg to stand upon. On the 21st, he was removed as the chief whip of Shiv Sena. And the Speaker of the House had acknowledged that Ajay Chaudhry ji is our Chief Whip. So whatever letter he can keep issuing, they do not have a valid stance in any court of law.
But Ms. Chaturvedi, that's where the lacuna comes in, no? Because what Eknath Shinde is saying that he is the real Shiv Sena, that you have no right to remove him as the chief whip because he has the maximum numbers, which he does, 38 out of 55, where your MLAs are concerned.
No, absolutely not, Preeti. That is where all these, these things have been spread, that we do not have a majority. All that will be proved on the floor of the House. So even if we stand to lose on the floor of the House, we will accept it. But at this point in time, from Guwahati, they cannot be just issuing videos. Again, and I will also repeat one more thing to you. Under the 10th schedule, even if they have the so-called majority, they will have to merge into another political party to be able to save themselves from disqualification. But since they are claiming to be an independent bloc, all those MLAs that you see in that video show that they're doing will stand disqualified. They will have to go back to the constituency to win and get a right to vote in the assembly. So 2/3 majority does not just work inside the assembly, 2/3 majority across the organization for them to even try and stake a claim over the party is how it works.
But ma'am, the fact is, as we speak, just 20 minutes ago, the meetings ended where your ally, who till 2 days ago, Mr. Sharad Pawar was telling you, dig in your heels, fight, get your MLAs back, have pretty much told you that, listen, you're not getting the numbers right now. 38, you're still bleeding MLAs. You only have 16. Sanjay Raut, your own party leader, has accepted only 16 MLAs you have of the 55, and out of which you don't know how many will be left the next morning. The question is, with the advice of your own ally, the NCP, will now Uddhav Thackeray step down or maybe dissolve the assembly after the national executive tomorrow?
Shri Uddhav Thackeray will not step down because his majority will be proved on the floor of the House, not from a 5-star hotel in Guwahati. Step 1. Step 2, Shri Uddhav Thackeray has categorically said he is willing to step down if any one of his MLA, the ones who are sitting cooped up in Guwahati, can come to tell him on his face that they have lost confidence in him. They cannot issue videos and say, oh, we have lost confidence. They come to Mumbai and say this. Now, step 3. Dissolving the assembly. Again, do they want to bypass the Supreme Court order which says dissolving the assembly can only happen after your floor of the dissolving of the assembly cannot happen till you do not prove your majority on the floor of the House. So even if there's a no confidence motion of any motion that is passed, it has to be done on the floor of the House inside the assembly. And unfortunately, we cannot ask them to vote from Guwahati. They will have to come to Mumbai.
In all of this, ma'am, you keep talking about the BJP. Why do you think, if it is orchestrated by the BJP, shouldn't the BJP have now come in? Because the numbers clearly are in the favor of Eknath Shinde. Why do you think the BJP is so silent?
I don't know why they're silent, but they're silently engineering this defection. They are silently supporting this gathering of all these MLAs. They are also sponsoring their stay, sponsoring their chartered flights, and that is not something I am saying. It is something that Shri Eknath Shinde ji in the video that was released was saying that is a superpower party which is helping them, which is a national party. So they are not silent. Their role has been pretty active, right from the Goa police to the Assam police to the Gujarat police, treating them like a bonded laborers, and people have seen visuals of that, should prove that.
All right, Ms. Chaturvedi, good luck and thank you for joining us. Well, you say that you have the numbers, but it doesn't look like. And in terms of even the visuals that are coming in from Guwahati, the count stands at 38 of the 55 that you have. Appreciate you taking out the time or joining us what seems to be a rather bleak evening. Ma'am, thank you. I want to cut across right now directly to our guests. A flaw test inevitable. How long will it take is the question. Rashid Kidwai, author and political commentator, joins us. Faizan Mirza, NCP leader. Desh Ratan Nigam, political analyst, Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor. Rajdeep, I want to begin with you. You've been tracking the developments very closely. How long and protracted do you see this floor test? Or do you think after the national executive tomorrow that the Shiv Sena has called, especially after what Sharad Pawar might have told him this evening, now Uddhav Thackeray might, maybe step down, dissolve the assembly, go for a floor test? What are you picking? What do you think?
First of all, I don't know where we are getting this, that Sharad Pawar has told Uddhav Thackeray to step down. From what I gather from sources close to Mr. Pawar, he has told Uddhav Thackeray to first save his party before even thinking of what happens in the floor test. And this is the significant element even of tomorrow's national executive. Remember, under the anti-defection laws, it's not enough to have a 2/3 split of the legislature party, which Eknath Shinde has clearly achieved with 38 MLAs with him, at least at the moment. But you also need to split the entire organization right down the line, which means all the district units, all the affiliated members all need to go along with the breakaway group. Now, Uddhav Thackeray's worry and concern will be, A, losing the legislature party is one thing, but B, I cannot lose the party itself because I may lose the party symbol. And then the Thackerays themselves will be totally on the back foot. And that's the real fear that I believe that the Shiv Sena leadership of Uddhav Thackeray has at the moment. Similar things happened in Uttar Pradesh, you might recall, when Akhilesh Yadav was battling with his father Mulayam Singh a few years ago. The struggle was to who would get the party symbol. Now Uddhav Thackeray, having, it appears, lost hold of the legislature party, wants to control at least the Shiv Sena. He doesn't want to lose control of the Shiv Sena, particularly with just a couple of months to go for the BMC elections. And be clear, Devendra Fadnavis and the BJP is working to a plan, not just to capture power in Mantralaya in Maharashtra, but also capture the BMC, which is the cash cow, the citadel in a way of the Shiv Sena. If the Thackeray clan loses the BMC, then they are virtually completely marginalized from Maharashtra politics. So I think Uddhav Thackeray has been told by Sharad Pawar that we'll see what happens with the legislators on the floor of the house. Let them come to Mumbai, but first at least prove your strength in the party organization. Get your workers around you, get them to rally around you, because if you can't do that, then it's not just game, set and match as far as the government is concerned, but you will lose the party that your father created. And I think that's the fear somewhere. Will this rebellion spread from the legislature party to districts, especially outside Mumbai, where a new Shiv Sena in a way has emerged in the last decade or two?
Well, in that sense, Rajdeep, today, if you look at the basic district panchayat level, out of 94, local panchayat heads, 91 came in allegiance with Uddhav Thackeray. So at that level, at least, he seems to be having his party together. But Faizan Mirza is there with us. He's an NCP leader. Mirza साहब, देखिए, कोई सोर्स जो है हमारे वो कह रहे हैं कि उद्धव ठाकरे जी को आज पवार साहब ने बोला है, देखिए आपके पास नंबर नहीं है, आंकड़े नहीं है, ग्रेसफुली एक्सेप्ट करिए और मूव ऑन करिए. अब क्या बोला है, आपको स्पॉट पे डाल रहे हैं, पर जो मीटिंग हुई है उसमें क्या हुआ है आज?
हमें तो यही कह रहे हैं कि एज अ कंपोनेंट ऑफ महाविकास आघाड़ी एनसीपी विल स्टैंड फर्मली बिहाइंड शिवसेना, दैट इज उद्धव ठाकरे साहब. And I am very confident that Sharad Pawar sahab will take us out of this dilemma. तो ये जो भी है, this is a number game. और शरद पवार साहब को इसका बहुत knowledge है, and he is a very stalwart politician. So I think that he will take us out of this.
All right, Rashid Kidwai, the fact is, even here, if you look at it, more than Uddhav Thackeray, not just the NCP, everybody is looking up to Sharad Pawar to solve this political mess.
Because he is Sankat Mochak.
Rashid Kidwai.
Because he is Sankat Mochak, and he can only take us out of this.
He enjoys doing this a lot, and I think with a lot of years in experience, Mr. Pawar is perhaps one of the best persons to handle this. As Mr. Ajit Pawar was saying, we must remember a split in a political party is one thing, and a split in a legislature party is one thing. In 1969, Indira Gandhi defeated Morarji Desai in a kind of informal contest within the Congress party, within the Congress parliamentary party. She had a majority. But that old guard of the Congress led by Morarji Desai and others, they continued to hold the organization. That is why it was called Congress O. and that becomes a very protracted battle. Now, the problem with Mr. Eknath Shinde is that he has entangled himself with too many things. He wants to, he wants to dump Uddhav Thackeray, which he can do it, but he also wants to own Shiv Sena. Now, that's a very difficult thing, as Priyanka Chaturvedi was rightly pointing it out, that anti-defection law is very clear. If you have 2/3, you have to go elsewhere. Like Jyotiraditya Scindia went to the BJP. And of course, in this case, all the MLAs had resigned. Here, they cannot afford to resign also. So they have got themselves in a bit of trouble, which is a momentary thing. I think the deputy speaker, if the deputy speaker acts against this MLAs 12 or 16, then the courts will come in, and the Supreme Court, as we know, they may order a kind of composite floor test, and that's where I think Uddhav Thackeray will get into a real problem. While the fight over who's real Shiv Sena will continue, but it happens, Preeti, with long experience of mine in political journalism. The one who has majority of MLAs and MPs, etc., ultimately gets that kind of recognition also as a political party.
Before I go to Mr. Nigam, I want to bring in Rajdeep Sardesai back into this conversation. Rajdeep, do you see it where Eknath Shinde is concerned that it's not about merging with the BJP? He wants the party now.
Eknath Shinde wants power. Let's be very clear. For the last few days, we've been going on virtually suggesting that Eknath Shinde has been marginalized by Uddhav Thackeray. Really? Eknath Shinde controls the Thane Municipal Corporation. Eknath Shinde's son is a member of parliament. Eknath Shinde had the most lucrative portfolio in this government, urban development. Most of the Shiv Sena MLAs, in a way, were surrounded Eknath Shinde. He was like a godfather, some said, to many of them. He hasn't had a bad time, as much as it is made out to be. We've used Aditya Thackeray, we've used Uddhav Thackeray's style of functioning in a way almost as excuses to justify Eknath Shinde's rebellion. We need to get some facts clear today. The fact is, even as we speak, there is a former minister of the Shiv Sena whose land today has been confiscated in a money laundering case by the ED. Yesterday, Anil Parab, minister and close aide of Uddhav Thackeray, he was summoned by the ED. He appeared before the ED. There are 8 MLAs at least who, along with their relatives, have ED cases who are today with Eknath Shinde in Guwahati. Eknath Shinde's aim is protection for himself. Couple of his close aides also had income tax raids against them. He went to Uddhav Thackeray. Uddhav Thackeray said, I can't help you apparently. The truth is, Eknath Shinde wants total control over Thane. He wants total immunity from any kind of prosecution for him or people around him. And he has promised all those around him that the Mahashakti, as he called it, will be there to help him. He wants power. He recognizes that while the Thackeray's control the Sena, he cannot be Neta number 1. He wants to be Neta number 1, even if it is in a BJP government, as a deputy chief minister. So he becomes the Sena's Neta
but as a deputy chief minister of what? Mr. Nigam, I'll bring you in, and Rajdeep, I'll bring you in. As a deputy chief minister of what party? As part of the BJP, as part of an independent group, or a part of the
as part of, possibly he will initially be part of an independent breakaway group, because he has a 2/3 of the legislators have gone with him.
But then wouldn't he be disqualified along with the others, Rajdeep?
No, whether he tries to capture the Sena will be a future hand. At the moment, his aim is Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister, Eknath Shinde, Deputy Chief Minister, all Shinde's key aides accommodated in the cabinet. And then the next step will be taken, whether he really wants to actually take on the Thackeray's in Mumbai and capture, in a way, the Sena. That battle, Preeti, will be decided when the BMC elections are held in October, November.
Right.
Whoever captures the October or any time between September to November, that's when that battle will be finally settled.
Deshratan Nigam, in all of this is the curious silence of the Bharatiya Janata Party. One does understand and appreciate that they've been burnt once. They don't want to put their foot forward. But if the numbers are on their side, what's stopping the BJP to come in and say this government is in minority?
Preeti, in fact, it's the law. The law is quite clear on the subject that if the merger takes place, then only all possibilities open up. And that would be decided on the floor of the House. And to go on the floor of the House, somebody has to stake a claim. And nobody till now has, put that claim forward. And things are in a very state of flux. But the fact, remember, the ideal situation is that no whip is issued by Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray resigns. and a new chief minister comes who proves the strength in the floor of the house. That would be an ideal situation. However, it appears, and I would agree with Rajdeep Sardesai, that the advice given by Sharad Pawar will not be to resign. It could be otherwise also. We don't know. But the fact remains that would make the things very difficult for BJP. And Sharad Pawar, as of now, is relying on the technicalities of the law, which is only the merger, which the possibility. So today, the things are not very, very clear. Ultimately, there are two issues out here. The new chief minister, whoever comes, will come through the floor test of the house. Second, which is the real Shiv Sena, that will come through election commission. And that's a long drawn process. You have to prove so many things. And although it can happen, because it happened in the case of Ram Vilas Paswan's party, the 8 out of 9, MPs clearly, took the emblem and everything and claimed themselves to be the real party. So out here also the similar situation may arise, but that will take time because both the sides have to be heard. The notice have to be issued. The election commission will have to hear both the sides. That's a long run process. An ideal situation which will be very good for Uddhav Thackeray and is to resign in a manner and accept Shinde, that a person who is an ordinary Shiv Sainik becomes a part of the system and he remains the head of the party and strengthens the party. That's an ideal situation. Otherwise, the Shiv Sena will suffer. Otherwise, the only outcome is that the Shiv Sena will suffer, whichever group it is.
But, Rajdeep wants to come in. Rajdeep, is it that simple? Is it the ideal way of going? Has, the perception been bought that the reason it's happening is because of the Hindutva perceptive, split, and not that this is a group which is power hungry and possibly greedy?
Look, point number one, every day that you get in power, you can sign files. I am told that about 100 files have been cleared in the last 3 days. That's the allegation that one BJP leader made to me, that over 100 files have been cleared in the last 3 days. The government is quickly clearing some contentious files as well. So there is an advantage of staying in power. And while you are in power, at least you can control events, at least in Mumbai. You may not be able to control what happens outside that, but you can control events in Mumbai. The point is Hindutva. Let's be honest again, Preeti. When they formed this government with NCP Congress, the Shiv Sena knew that Hindutva was going to be put on the back burner. All these MLAs, including Eknath Shinde, were well aware of that. They have rediscovered this 2.5 years later to try and take the moral high ground, to try and somehow suggest that this revolt is not about power politics. It's about commitment, ideological commitment to Hindutva. The fact is, Eknath Shinde was accompanying Aditya Thackeray a week ago. They went to Ayodhya together. Where was the Hindutva? That time they were happily going together.
In fact, Rajdeep, in late 2015, Eknath Shinde made a public statement saying he didn't want the alliance with the BJP.
Look, in the fact is, these are all opportunists across party lines. What happened in November 2019 was opportunism, where Sharad Pawar played, in a sense, a key role in ditching both the BJP and ditching the BJP at the last moment, as did Uddhav Thackeray. What you're seeing today is also opportunism and self-preservation. Right. I think one must ask this question. Why is it that the Enforcement Directorate is only targeting the close aides of Uddhav Thackeray and the NCP?
Right.
Are we saying that Eknath Shinde, whose own track record involving certain key aides of him who've had income tax rates, they are not going to be touched? Why is it suddenly that Pratap Sarnaik, who was the original person to say, let's join the BJP so that we can get off the ED's stranglehold, has joined Eknath Shinde in Guwahati? What will happen to them? This washing machine politics is also something we should look at as journalists. It is not a level, please appreciate, it is not a level playing field at the moment in Maharashtra.
Right.
The fact is at the moment that you've got Eknath Shinde, who has all the benefits now of having the BJP's machine behind him. The BJP is silent, yes, but they are silently working to a plan. And the plan is eventually to try and ensure that the Hindutva space is monopolized by the BJP across Maharashtra. Because the Shiv Sena, this was, Preeti, the original plan of Pramod Mahajan. When he tied up with Bal Thackeray, his belief was, post Bal Thackeray's death, the BJP would capture the Sena space. As it turned out, ironically, Pramod Mahajan died tragically before Bal Thackeray. But this is exactly what they were building towards. And that is the eventual plan. Can I capture the entire Hindutva space using, in a way, the Sena's commanders like Eknath Shinde as almost proxies in this battle and eventually marginalize the Thackerays? Is that possible? The BMC elections will tell us that.
Well, all right. Then, Mr. Nigam, you differ on the fact that the entire Hindutva perspective is playing out very differently. You've always maintained that, one has to, there is credence to it because it was an unnatural alliance to begin with. Ideology-wise, it doesn't sit.
Yes, absolutely. Because the leadership may have shaken, hands with the other parties, but the voters and the supporters of the and the workers of the Shiv Senics could not. Their hearts could not meet with the NCP or the others. That disconnect was always felt by the MLAs. They had that feedback from the ground that disconnect with the voters and supporters is taking place. And these MLAs and elected representatives are very sensitive to the opinion of the people and the voters. And once they have that feedback, they waited for some time, and finally when they got to understand the situation and the elections are coming up, including the BMC and subsequently the other elections would also come in line, then they were forced to take that step. And they are correct in doing so because this unnatural alliance was actually eating into the vote bank of the Shiv Sena. And that feedback mechanism that they have, and let me tell you, let's not discount the smartness of these MLAs. We may think that they are power hungry and things like power is a common denominator across all the parties. So one has to now leave that common denominator and look for exact reasons why this is happening. Once you
please tell me, Mr. Nigam. Mr. Nigam, please tell me, the MLAs who are sitting today in Guwahati, against whom there are serious cases of income tax and enforcement directed violations, will they be given a clean chit or not? Will you approve it if they are given a clean chit? Is this the kind of politics this country is going to see? That if you are close to the government in power in the center, all your sins are washed away. All of them. I can give you the entire list of all the Shiv Sena MLAs who today are in Guwahati who have enforcement directed cases against them.
Let me answer, Rajdeep. I would not like to be a judge here because these matters will be decided by court. And I don't have that privilege and liberty because I'm a lawyer too. So ultimately, any washing of sins has to be tested in a court of law. ED cannot withdraw on its own. Once it is registered, it is before the court. And
you know better. You are a lawyer. You know how lawyers can, how courts can allow, how the enforcement agency can allow a matter to delay for years together. That is what is happening in Maharashtra.
Then why not question the court?
Let's be honest. What happened in November 2019? Sir, let me be honest. What happened in 2019 November was a betrayal of the mandate. The mandate was for a Devendra Fadnavis-led BJP Sena government. No doubt about that. No one should have any quarrel with that. However, what is happening today also is a misuse of state power to try and intimidate and push MLAs into a corner. Let's also be honest about that. It's time we accepted that our democracy is in recession. Let's not try and paper over it when it suits us. November 2019.
I'm against
let him answer. He's trying to get in a word in. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Nigam. Go ahead.
Rajdeep, I'm a guest to your channel. Please allow me to express my views.
Because you should be honest, sir.
I'm being very honest. I told you we don't have the liberty to prejudge any issue. And if anybody has a problem, the courts are there to look at it. Either we are questioning the courts, the intelligence of the courts or the wisdom of the courts. The state machinery can also be questioned before a court of law. They are not above law. The rule of law prevails in this country. If they are innocent, they will be left. They will be, they will be acquitted by the court. The delays do take place in our court system, whether it is a normal property case or a criminal case, we all have seen, and that requires a judicial reform, and that's a separate debate altogether. But as a responsible citizen, I cannot prejudge an entire issue. If those people who are sitting in Guwahati, if they have a case against them, they have to follow the due process of law, which is available to any other citizen as well. However, coming to this point, coming to the present scenario, and I told you, the law has a lot of technicalities. It is not as simple because the no confidence motion against Deputy Speaker, as and when the floor test is called, that will be taken up first. And a new speaker will be appointed. And then the floor test will take place. So it's not as simple as that. So let's wait for 2-3 days, and I think things will be quite crystal clear.
Rashid Kidwai, I want to bring you in because we're talking about the floor test, and when you actually, how long protracted that is, we'll only know in a few days. But when we get down to the floor test, there's so much attention that is being given just to the MLAs of the Shiv Sena. But when it comes down to the lot, the Congress might say it has their 44 lot together, but the most vulnerable at this point of time for cross-voting, when they know that the power equations lie with the BJP, the Congress would be most vulnerable. Even if you look at Kamal Nath's meeting, 15 minutes, with Sharad Pawar, 15 minutes with his own MLA, stayed there for half a day and left.
Preeti, theoretically speaking, yes, but in practical terms, it's highly unlikely that the Congress would split because there is no place in that group. Now that Devendra Fadnavis group, that being BJP and Eknath Shinde, they have the numbers, so they don't need other support. Why would Congress people go there? They may go in one or twos, but one or twos would lead to a lot of technical problems because a formal split in Congress cannot take place. And a speaker's election, Preeti, we must remember, it also can act as a vote of confidence or no confidence against Uddhav Thackeray. So if there is a new speaker's election, then that will settle it. I don't see the real problem of Shinde is that he is not able to make up his mind, or he has got into this trap. On the one hand, he's trying to sell this line that he's a real Shiv Sena. He may be. At the same time, he's, as Mr. Sardesai was pointing out, he's desperate to get into power. Now, both cannot, coexist. A lot has been said in this conversation I was hearing about, the fact that, the Sena and Hindutva. Sena has not been an offshoot of RSS or Sangh Parivar by any stretch of imagination. Balasahebs Thackeray started off against communists, against South Indians, against Muslims, against all kind of things. He defended emergency. He defended, his party supported Pranab Mukherjee as a UPA presidential nominee. So all these things are there. So political parties are not prisoners of ideology. And to say that this was, defied that mandate, what happened in Bihar when Nitish Kumar and RJD had fought together and Nitish Kumar joined, and people of that state gave a renewed mandate. So we should not, this is a very elitist way of looking at it. What was BJP doing with PDP in Kashmir?
Right. Okay. I'm going to close but okay, I'm going to move on in the show. But Rajdeep, I'll bring you in for a quick word. So what we're really looking at now is a floor test. It's the number of days that matter.
First, yes, I agree. We are looking at a floor test, and it appears to me almost impossible for Uddhav Thackeray to retain control of the legislature party, and thereby this government has gone into a minority. I cannot see Uddhav Thackeray surviving at the moment. He is holding on to power literally by his fingernails. But a very quick comment on what Rashid said about the fact that alliances can be unholy or unnatural at times. Of course they can be. But I will say this, that the rank and file of the Sena, I think, would prefer to be with the BJP because there is a coming together on the Hindutva plank. In that sense, when your rank and file itself would prefer an alliance with a particular party, the message goes up to the leaders. The leaders want power. The workers, in a way, want at least some kind of affiliation where they feel ideologically aligned to the larger vision of the party. In that sense, I think Uddhav Thackeray's attempt to moderate the Shiv Sena has failed. I think that's the failure of Uddhav Thackeray. He attempted it, and good luck to him. He tried to change the Shiv Sena, but the Shiv Sena remains the party of Balasahebs Thackeray and not of Uddhav Thackeray. And therefore, I think the natural tendency, the natural habitat almost of the Shiv Sena is the BJP. And that's probably what we will see in the months ahead. Whether it happens in a week, 2 months, 3 months, the court battles will continue. But eventually, I think you will see the BJP Shiv Sena come together.
Okay, Mr. Kidwai, I know you want to come in. So quickly make your point. I need to get out of the debate.
Preeti, it would interest you when the MVA was formed and a common minimum program was being written. In English text, it said secularism, secular word, but in Hindi and Marathi edition, there was no, there was no term for dharma nirpeksh or pantha nirpeksh. So this is a kind of trick, that jugglery that MVA was doing.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all for joining us. While I was doing my research, I saw the last interview of Balasahebs Thackeray. When he was asked, are you close to the BJP? He actually said, yeah, we are close, but we are also closed to the BJP. Interesting, in terms of all the developments that are taking place in that light. We're going to keep a keen eye. Trust us. Tomorrow, all eyes on the national executive that has been called by Uddhav Thackeray. Uddhav Thackeray now desperate to save his party. What happened today? Embattled Uddhav Thackeray, running out of time, options. He now has just 16 MLAs, self-admittedly by the party. 38 of his lot are sitting in Guwahati with Eknath Shinde. Desperate for a face saver, Uddhav Thackeray today made another emotional appeal. If the first emotional appeal was to the rebel MLAs, this one, viewers, was for the loyalists.
As the ground began slipping from under him, the emotional side of the otherwise hard as nails Uddhav Thackeray emerged on Friday.
अचानक एक दिवस सकाळी उठलो आणि आळस दिली तेव्हा माझ्या मानेत जो प्रचंड असा क्रॅम्प आला, त्याच्यानंतर माझ्या लक्षात आलं माझी खांद्यापासूनची तळपायापर्यंतची हालचाल पूर्ण बंद झाली होती. पूर्ण बंद. म्हणजे मी श्वास घ्यायला बघितलं, मी एक बघितलं की पोट सुद्धा हलत नाही, सगळंच बंद. आणि मग तातडीने दुसरं ऑपरेशन करावं लागलं.
In what sounded as a final plea to his cadres, Uddhav first spoke of his illness, then of betrayal.
महत्वाकांक्षा जरूर असावी, पण तिला ती राक्षसी महत्वाकांक्षा असता कामा नये की ज्याने दिलं त्यालाच खायचं. ही महत्वाकांक्षा नाहीये. ही महत्वाकांक्षा असू शकत नाही. आणि जास्तीत जास्त काय केलं तो आज तुम्ही आमदार नेल्यान घेऊन गेलात, घेऊन जा. आणखीन कोणाला घेऊन जायचं घेऊन जा. तुम्ही झाडाची फुलं तोडू शकता, झाडाची फळं तोडू शकता, पण झाडाची मुळं ही उपटून काढू शकलेल्या नाहीत.
On the political front, the Chief Minister appeared to be fighting a losing battle. His attempt to have 16 rebel MLAs disqualified was totally dismissed by his rival Eknath Shinde.
पहली बात है, ये ऐसा पिटीशन करने का अधिकार उनको नहीं है, क्योंकि जो उन्होंने गठनेता चेंज किया है वो उसके लिए गठनेता चेंज करने के लिए पूरे सभी विधायक जो है उनकी मीटिंग बुलानी पड़ती है और मेजोरिटी से गठनेता तय किया जाता है. वो एक तो इलीगल गठनेता बनाया है.
Uddhav's move to seek disqualification of the MLAs will come up before Deputy Speaker Narhari Zirwal. Since the Assembly does not have a speaker, Zirwal's role in the crisis is going to be crucial. Shinde has already said he has no confidence in Zirwal, and as a leader of majority of Sena MLAs, wants him replaced. Shinde is banking on a 2016 Supreme Court order in a case from Arunachal Pradesh, which said that no decision can be taken if the Deputy Speaker's position as the Speaker is being challenged. Although he has said he will fight till the end. Thackeray's belligerence is clearly diminishing. It will be interesting to see if Uddhav goes through the ignominy of losing a floor test in the Assembly. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, viewers, in midst of all of this, the fierce battle to win Balasahebs' legacy rages on between Uddhav Raj and Eknath. With the rebel camp growing in numbers, Eknath Shinde is all set to knock out the Uddhav Sena and inching to topple the Maharashtra government. Here's more.
Uddhav, Raj or Eknath Shinde, who will win the battle for Balasaheb's legacy? With the rebel camp numbers swelling, Eknath Shinde is all set to give a double blow to Uddhav Thackeray. Not just is he all set to push him off the Chief Minister's chair, but is also likely to end Uddhav Thackeray's reign in the Shiv Sena. With the rebel camp near close to proving two-third majority, the question is if Eknath Shinde will now float his own party. Eknath Shinde claims to be a true Shiv Sainik and has promised to work on the ideals of Balasaheb Thackeray.
सभी लोग जो है हम बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का जो हिंदुत्व है इस और उनकी जो भूमिका है उसको हम लोग आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं।
Uddhav Thackeray has not had it easy either. 2 months after Bal Thackre's demise, Sena Executive President Uddhav Thackeray took over as the Sena President in January 2013. He admitted, though, that he could never replace his father, and epithets like Supremo and Hindu Hriday Samrat will always be associated to his father, Bal Thackeray. Trying to stay true to its Hindutva ideology, Shiv Sena, under Uddhav Thackeray, had allied with the BJP in 2014. The situation reversed, though, in 2019, with the two parties joining hands to fight polls together, yet splitting soon after, as BJP won 105 seats, refused to give up the Chief Minister's chair to the Shiv Sena, who landed 56 seats in the 288-member assembly. Uddhav then took the unexpected route to the throne by allying with Congress and NCP. Uddhav Thackeray since then has been slammed for shunning Sena founder's Hindutva legacy. He did respond to critics, though, saying that his idea of Hindutva is different. Taking a jibe at the BJP, Uddhav was heard saying he does not want a Hindu Rashtra which is not peaceful.
शिवसेना कदापि हिंदुत्वापासून आणि हिंदुत्व कदापि शिवसेनेपासून दूर होऊ शकत नाही, कारण शिवसेना प्रमुखांनी जो एक कानमंत्र दिलेला आहे की हिंदुत्व हा आमचा श्वास आहे.
On the sidelines now is also Raj Thackeray, the nephew of Bal Thackeray. The MNS chief, in fact, bears close resemblance to his uncle in looks, aggression and oratory skills. He broke away from the Shiv Sena over tussle on who will be Bal Thackeray's political heir. Raj Thackeray founded MNS in 2006 and popularized Sons of the Soil campaign, over which Shiv Sena was built in 1966. The brightest showing for the MNS was in 2009 when Raj Thackeray ate into the Shiv Sena and BJP votes in Mumbai, Thane, Pune and Nashik, bagging 13 seats of the 288 assembly. MNS since has seen rapid decline. In 2014 and 2019 assembly elections, MNS managed to secure just one assembly seat, losing deposit in most others. In May 2014 Lok Sabha polls, Raj Thackeray openly backed Narendra Modi for Prime Minister and fielded candidates, mostly against the Sena. However, in 2019 Lok Sabha polls, Raj Thackeray took a U-turn, criticized Narendra Modi but did not contest polls. Well, Uddhav Thackeray had till lately been the popular choice to take forward Bal Thackeray's legacy. But of all the revolts that the Shiv Sena has faced in over 50 years of its existence, the current one, led by Eknath Shinde, looks the most threatening. Uddhav now needs nothing short of a miracle to salvage his party. Bijay Kumar for India Today.
All right, viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Today. Trust India Today to get you the ringside view, the front seat, the vantage position to this politically explosive battle which is going down in the state of Maharashtra, clearly one-sided as of now. Tomorrow, Shiv Sena has called for a national executive. We are going to get you the latest of what comes out of that. You have a great weekend.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999 892171.
Battle is now for the control of Shiv Sena. And Uddhav Sena insists this battle will be fought not just on the floor of the House, but also on the streets of Maharashtra. Is that a threat to Eknath Sena that claims to have the support of more than 38 Shiv Sena MLAs? It's the battle for the control of Balasahebs' legacy. Join me, Gaurav Sawant, as I get you the latest on India First at 10 p.m. tonight, only on India Today.